Hey guys, I'm here to talk to you about my first float tank experience. I had this experience back in February 12th, 2012, and it was my very first experience. I'd already made a video of this yesterday, but truly for a long time I'd been procrastinating whether I should even talk about this because it's something that was strange when I experienced it, and it was very sacred to me. Plus it was really odd and I wasn't sure I wanted to put something so deep out there, but I found that there's not a lot of information out there. Well, there is, but you have to really dig for it. So I was very obsessed, very obsessed with the idea of floating, and I was constantly reading up on as much as I could. And below I've shared some links that might help you get started, but once you get started and you're into it, you'll really find a lot. But the true essence of it is in your own experience. And what fascinated me most was people's testimonials and experiences, reading forums, watching review videos. And at the time that I was looking this up compared to now, towards the end of 2011, I wasn't finding a lot of videos, or maybe because I was so obsessed I just couldn't get enough that it seemed as if not a lot of videos are out there about this. So I thought I could just contribute my share. I was introduced to float tanks through an interview I'd seen of Joe Rogan, and actually he talks about this in a few interviews, and I was really into some of his views towards things, and he really made this sound fascinating. Actually, that's what really pushed me to try to have this experience. So what I want to tell you is I'd made a video yesterday in 2 parts, and the first part was deleted. When I was trying to edit it, it completely deleted, so I'm doing this all over again, and I feel like this particular take takes away from a lot of what was really heartfelt. Something deeper within me pushed me to even want to talk about it, but nonetheless I'll share as much as I can. I started looking at float tanks especially in Yahoo group forums, and there was a lot of information there. There are experts, and then there are also amateurs and all kinds of people in between looking for different experiences through floating. So yeah, there was a Yahoo group that was the most helpful. YouTube videos and forums, as I had mentioned. So I'd seen an aspect of this in The Simpsons, and I'm just going to tell you my experience was nowhere near what that episode depicted. And then I'd seen scenes from the movie Altered States. And in that movie, there's a really specific scene. It looked as if there are all these morphing shapes and geometric patterns as if someone was on psychedelics. And that wasn't my experience. It was actually pretty calm and it was very blissful. So it was actually a relaxing experience for me. So I went to a float tank in Toronto. That's the city I was living in at the time. Yeah, I was living there at the time, and I liked the location I went to. Now there are different places, actually only 2 places in that whole city that had put themselves out there as offering this experience, and only really one of them, the one that I went to, was the most legit. It seemed legitimate. They were registered, they were established, and their website was attractive, and they had open communication. I had so many questions and I could reach them. So I booked an appointment, and I did something that's called a float and thump, or thump and float, which basically means that you get a massage before going into the experience, and it was a very it was a deep tissue massage, so I felt very deeply. It relaxed my muscles, and that made for the experience to be very healing, because Epsom salts are known to heal. So in the links below, you'll find more information on what a float tank really is and what you go through. So before going into the float tank, I was asked to sign a form, and basically that form was so that the people giving me the experience, I don't want to mention them or put them in any trouble, but they were claiming that they will not be liable if you had out of the ordinary experience while in the float tank. But I'm ready to tell you, nothing crazy is bound to happen. It's actually it's a nice experience. In the form, I had to, whether whoever's signing it has to claim that their mind is clear. So that basically means your mind you cannot be under the influence of anything that alters how you perceive things. So yeah, that's what the form claimed. And when I asked the girl, and I even mentioned having psychedelic experiences, she told me no. It's a very relaxing, very mind clearing process. So you won't have, rather, and that was my experience. I didn't have anything out of the ordinary. Well, I did, but I talk more of that in the second video. It's hard for me to talk about this because it involved many layers, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, but it was far from what's depicted in the media, at least for me. So so when I got there, it was very nicely set up. They provided pretty much everything you would need to, if you're going swimming or showering, anything you would do to interact with water. They provided towels, soaps, shampoos, conditioners, but it's really up to you to take with you whatever you feel like taking. I was advised to enter, so after I showered, because you had to shower before going in, I was advised to enter the tank backwards. So first you sit and then you float back as if you were in a pool, and you have to be relaxed. I can't emphasize enough how relaxed you need to be to have that experience. Just like in a pool, if you relaxed, when you relax, that's when you're able to float. In this case, you don't even have to force yourself to relax. At least for me, I found that I floated effortlessly. I was floating while seated upright. I was upright and I was floating in a foot of water, concentrated with 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts. And it's hard to even describe the kind of tank I went into. I don't remember how to well, I remember, but I don't know how to describe it to you. But they claim it fits 2 people. 2 adults can fit in it. You can, but ideally I recommend you just go in alone. So I talk about more of my experiences in the second one, but if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll discuss further. The way the water felt on me it was a bit colder than expected, but being a tropical person, actually I like heat, and they did their best. I mean, the room was very well heated. It was really hot, and I liked it because it was right in the middle of winter when I did it. And going into the water, it took a while to be comfortable because mainly because of the temperature. They claim that it was skin temperature. It probably was, but I get cold very easily and it takes a lot of heat for me to be comfortable. If you have any questions, let me know. The second video addresses more, and so do my links, and I'll definitely email or message you if you have any questions. Okay.